It's well known that guinea pigs are social pets, but what isn't so clear is the huge role that dominance plays when it comes to them actually living happily together. Let's just say things don't always go smoothly. And aside from outright fights, it's very common for us piggy owners to worry about piggy bullying, how closely bonded our pigs really are, and even whether they might need to be separated. So today we're covering all you need to know about guinea pig dominance, starting with an explanation. Dominance, from a piggy perspective, is an instinctive need to set up a hierarchy within any social group. Our pigs' wild ancestors would have used these hierarchies to determine who got first access to important resources like food, shelter, and the best mates. And certain behaviours were used to set up these hierarchies, with the bossiest individuals prevailing, meaning that they would have passed on their dominant genes to future generations. And the result is today that our domesticated piggies still have an embedded need to set up a hierarchy. Our pigs are usually equipped with a certain level of wanting to be in charge, shall we say, and a definite selfishness when it comes to food and hiding places, even if there's no shortage of them in their plush, well catered for modern homes. A lot of owners even describe their pigs as having diva-like characteristics, to the point where they even boss their owners around, confidently wanting everything their way no matter what. And on the flip side, other guinea pigs might seem fairly chilled out, but they will still have their own place in the hierarchy. And as far as showing dominance, there's a wide range of behaviours, some that you might see on a daily basis and others that are less common, which you might only see when introducing guinea pigs for the first time. It's also normal for these behaviours to have a sort of scale of intensity, which we can use to judge how casual or severe a situation is. Common dominance behaviours in bonded guinea pigs are things like head raising, where piggies look to briefly square each other off, or jabbing, used as a quick method of telling off a cage mate. And then we have rumble strutting, which is a rumbling sound paired with a sort of side swagger. There's also rumbling on its own, sniffing bottoms and wiping bottoms as a form of scent marking, and a certain amount of chasing and mounting can be pretty normal too. Fun fact, sometimes you might see females squirt pee backwards when provoked, which is also normal, if a little gross. An interesting behaviour is teeth chattering, which can be seen and heard quietly in bonded piggies occasionally, but it's one that can escalate to become much more obvious, louder and threatening in more high conflict introductions. Here, teeth chattering might be combined with much faster, more aggressive chasing and rumbling, and attempting to make themselves look bigger by taking a side-on stance at an opponent and raising their hair up. You can also get more aggressive head raising and mini lunging at each other. Other, more subtle but still warning behaviours include repeated yawning and making short, sharp huffs at each other. And when these escalate further, you get proper lunging at each other and furball fights, at which point we need to intervene and stop them from hurting each other. Always remember to protect your hands, guinea pig bites can be really nasty. And it's important that we don't forget to recognise submissive behaviours too. These can give us insights into the likely outcome of confrontations. And they can be loud squealing, which does sound different to squeaking for food, running away, or standing still and simply not retaliating. And when introducing piggies, it's really important to let them properly set up this hierarchy. So these behaviours kind of escalate until finally, hopefully, one piggy backs down. Quite often though, and understandably, owners get worried and they intervene and they interrupt the process too early, causing their piggies to take a step back and go back to square one even. For example, a pair of piggies might have to be on the verge of a fight before one of them finally backs down. So try not to intervene until the very last moment. I know it's really hard and we can't ever get our timing spot on. And also try not to leave your guinea pigs unsupervised in their bonding area if you're nervous about fights breaking out. Overnight, you could extend their bonding pen to be bigger so there's less chance of conflicts. Another important thing to remember about guinea pig dominance is recognising that it can change over time and be influenced by other things such as age, stress, illness and hormones. A common example is when young male piggies start to clash more when they reach a certain age, around 4 to 8 months, and this is when they can be more boisterous with each other. Meanwhile, older piggies whose health is declining might not want to assert their dominance so much anymore. Or a female who's in heat or suffering from ovarian cysts might repeatedly repeatedly chase her cage mates round and round trying to mount them. And also the lack of certain resources can bring these behaviours on, such as there being only one favourite hiding place or limited access to hay, pellets and water, sometimes in a way that isn't always immediately obvious to us as owners. And whilst hierarchies can be quick to change, they can also be slow to establish fully. For example, it's fairly common for new owners to worry about bullying behaviours in recently bonded piggies, like chasing that they keep seeing day after day. This kind of thing can go on for several months before things start to settle down. Where we do see this bullying in already bonded piggies, there are some things that we can try that might help them get along better. And first up is space. The bigger the cage, the less chance of conflicts, because piggies can simply get out of each other's way easier. So pet store cages tend to be far too small, whilst flexible options such as CNC cages can work well and be low cost. And I'll share my recent video on the best cages for piggies in the description below if you want to look at upgrading your cage. Next up, try having multiple of each cage accessory, like food bowls, water bottles, toys, hidey houses and hay areas. This one will probably have to be combined with getting a bigger cage, unless your cage is really empty or you can shift things around. Thirdly, rethink the type of hidey that you have. It's best to avoid small single entrance hiding spots where a piggy could be easily trapped by a more dominant cage mate. So go for more open or multiple entrance hideys or tunnels. And think whether your piggies are comfortable. Excess heat in summer or being cold in winter might trigger stress and annoyance with their cage mates. Take measures to keep them at a comfortable temperature. And personally, I always recommend keeping guinea pigs indoors. If you suspect hormonal changes or illness triggering certain behaviours, then please do see a guinea pig specialist vet. It's amazing how common ovarian cysts are, for example, and they can directly affect female hormones and dominance behaviours. And also, if you have male and female piggies in different cages, smelling the females can cause the boys to fall out, so avoid having cages in the same room and scents transferring via clothing, shared items or on your hands. But what about fighting, I hear you ask? So if your guinea pigs have had a fight and drawn blood, then it is likely that their bond is broken and they won't be able to live together. In some mild cases, you could try again. It's possible that injuries can happen by accident. So if you think that's the case, then set up a fresh, neutral bonding pen and go again. Now, if they are still fighting or the dominance behaviours are getting to the point where the subordinate piggy is just constantly stressed and not happy, and you've given it time and tried to change things up for them, then separation might be for the best. The most common solution is to create a cage divider so they can still hear, see and interact with each other, but they each have their own space. And you might have to make those individual spaces bigger as well. I know it's not an ideal situation, but if it's any reassurance, studies have shown that guinea pigs who live like this are measurably as happy and content as guinea pigs who have direct contact with others. For us, we're really lucky at the moment because the herd get along great, but it's never guaranteed and it's always a risk when you're introducing new piggies. And if this video has left you thinking my guinea pig is better off alone, then I would encourage you to give this video a watch next, where I delve into whether it's really ever right to keep single piggies and share our experience of keeping Nacho here as a lone piggy before he met his girlfriends. As always guys, thank you so much for watching. Please like and leave a comment below, it's much appreciated, and we will see you in the next one. Bye bye!